Hello again, let's try the Cheviot this time. No Sullivan this time because this one's a bit more complicated, but he'll come back for another cameo later on. So, Cheviot essay. This is the big one. It's a 2 for the price of 1. It's both your writing assessment and a literature assessment, so it's really, really important. The deadline is this week, though I'm very happy for it to come in any time over the next 10 days or so up to Easter. I really don't want you having a hanging over you over Easter because you've got other fish to fry, and I want to be around while you're doing it to answer any questions and give you any help you can. So, the notes are online, the task is online, it's in the literature folder. I sent it out as well the other day. There's also the notes we did in class saved as a PowerPoint in the same literature folder and on the same link on the email I sent last week. The first thing to remember with this particular piece of writing is that this is a formal essay. It's the most formal thing that we've done this year. You need to be writing in an academic voice, which means mostly in the third person. You can use the phrase in this essay if you want, but it's perhaps even better to just talk directly about the play. In the play, The Cheviot, the Stag, the Blackback Oil, John McGrath's message is this, or even the message in the play is, and so you go on like that. It's really clever to use phrases like the audience or sometimes the reader, but if you think about it in terms of the impression on the audience, so the message conveyed to the audience is, the phrases like that can really help you get started. You need to use quotation, you need to analyse the text, you need to explain your ideas, and you need to evaluate the overall effect and impact on the audience. And that idea of evaluating, interpreting the meaning, that's the key marker for level 6. If you don't talk about the effect on the audience or the impact on the audience or the overall meaning of the play, then it's not a level 6 piece. Now, though I've said it's an academic essay, you can use that word I in a literature essay. It's not a dirty word in Comms and Lit, particularly in the conclusion. You can say I think or I felt or I found. That's absolutely fine. Now, about essay planning, I want to remind you that in class we talked about 2 different ways that you could organise your essay. The first, and in a sense maybe the most straightforward, is to organise your essay chronologically. That is, in the same order of the play. Conveniently, the ending of the play, which is what the essay is about, is kind of organised in the same order, because the ending is kind of a summary, if you like, of the play. So you could do your introduction, say 2 paragraphs on the Cheviot bit of the play and the messages and meanings in that, 2 paragraphs on the stag bit in the play and the messages and meanings in that, and 1 or 2 paragraphs on the oil bit of the play and the messages and meanings in that. And that's just grand. You could go along like that, and as long as you write in each paragraph, you have a clear idea about what the message or meaning is, say that it's anti-capitalist or that it's protesting against the injustice of the clearances. As long as you do that, and then you link back to the whole play, so you could link back to Patrick Seller and the burning of the croft, which killed the old lady, or you could link back to some of the bits that the MC says to the audience, then you're going to be fine. Let me remind you though, you need to comment on technique as you go, particularly theatrical technique. And remember, we've talked in class about many techniques in the play, such as the caricatures of the people that are used for both comic effect and to create a satiric critical edge to the play. That would be a great example. The use of music. The Cayley play would be a great example. The breaking of the fourth wall, the way that the characters speak to the audience, particularly through the MCs. The use of the journalistic style, where you sort of seem to go from a sketch through to the characters almost speaking history or speaking like a report of what happened or has happened. All of those techniques are really, really good to comment on. If you don't cover all of them, it doesn't matter, but you need to have picked out a few examples of theatrical technique in order to pass the essay. Now, the second way that you could organise your essay is what I call conceptually, about big ideas. So you could organise your whole essay around, say, the argument that it's an anti-capitalist play and is really standing up against the injustices and oppression of the people of Scotland. Or you could organise it around big ideas about the way the culture of Scotland has been manipulated and controlled, destroyed and then reappropriated to support the ruling class. You could organise your essay around 1, 2 or 3 of the big ideas, the big concepts. And if you do that, you don't necessarily have to follow the chronology of the play. So you might even find yourself talking about the oil section first, or the ending of the play first, the last bits, and then going back. It's up to you. Organising an essay conceptually is a very good thing. Some people will find it more straightforward because it's quite free about how you organise it. However, for our purposes, both ways of organising the essay are equally good to pass this at level 6. I really want you to choose the one that feels the most straightforward to you and the one that you think, oh yeah, I can do that. In possible futures, if you're writing academically at university, you'll always end up organising essays around concepts. But right now, either is good. I'm only laying out 2 options for you because people's minds work in different ways, and you've got to go with whatever works for you. In the end, both essay plans lead to similar things. You will comment on the message of the play. You will analyse the ending of the play, so you will use some quotations from that last 2 pages. You will link back to other bits of the play and show how the message at the end links back to the message in the whole play. You will definitely use some quotations from the whole play and some reference to details and particularly theatrical techniques from the whole play. You do that, you'll pass. Now, a word on introductions and conclusions. An introduction should get straight to the point. In the play The Cheviot, the Stag, the Black Oil by John McGrath, the main message is, and you might summarise in a couple of sentences what you think the main message or messages are. You'll definitely raise and comment on some of the theatrical techniques right from the introduction. But the introduction is short, 3 or 4 sentences are fine. Then you'll have a series of topic paragraphs that will cover different topics in the play, either chronologically, like I said, or big ideas, concepts. It's up to you. Then your conclusion serves several purposes. There's a summary aspect to a conclusion. You do sum up your main ideas. So you do feel sometimes in the conclusion that you're going over main points again. That's just fine. But you're also trying to convey what the overall impact on the audience is. It's really good in a conclusion to say, overall the impact of on the audience is, or the main message to the audience is, or the main messages are. So you are summarising, but you're doing a little bit more than that. It's the so what. It's here's the impact, this is what it's all about, this is what the audience is taking away from this. Sometimes conclusions can fit in ideas that you haven't managed to comment on throughout. That's okay in a literature essay. Sometimes you may personally want to offer a critique or question or a comment on the effectiveness of the whole play. There's no need to agree with the play. I mean, it's very biased politically. So you could comment on that in the conclusion. You know, some of you will be very sympathetic to the political bias in the play. Others of you might make a quite nationalistic reading of the play in the 21st century. Some of you may critique it, really question the some of the assumptions in the play. Fine, I don't judge that at all. You can let that come out if you want. It may come out a wee bit throughout it, but in the conclusion, that's the place where you can let a little bit more of your personal opinion, comment, evaluation come through, your personal critique. Right. Remember, the essay is about 800 to 1300 words long. It's more useful to think about it in terms of paragraphs, though. I suggest a minimum of 7 paragraphs, but once you're going over 9 or 10 paragraphs or 1300 words, stop. You're only giving a snapshot of the play, you're not trying to cover everything. You guys will understand this play much more than is required for the essay. Remember what I've always said to you, learning big, assessment small. So you're just being assessed on your understanding of how all the ideas relate to this essay title. Okay, good luck. Any queries and questions, fire them in by email. I can talk to you on the phone if you like. I'll call you from my work mobile, which is on the bottom of the email. Better if you make an appointment to call me, because I'm managing kids and dog and life and all the rest of it. So I can make a time and I'll give you a call if there's a problem. If you want me to check a draft, you can send it to me by email before you turn it in, if you want. Or you can just blast it in and turn it in, and if there's a problem, I'll send it back to you. That's not a problem at all. It's purely a question of pass now or pass tomorrow. Get it done and you will get through it, guaranteed. Right, take care, stay well, stay warm, enjoy a little bit of sunshine. It's pleasantly good weather, and the birds are singing and the blossom is coming out. So take care of yourself. Bye now.